Welcome everybody back to Veil of Sound, and this feels like a They're Back from the Dead edition, because we got 3 of the 4 guys who are in gospel, ladies and gentlemen. So hello gentlemen, thanks for being on the show.
Hi.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, especially since everybody should be in love with The Loser, that wonderful record that you released in May. But for all those who don't know that A, you were dead, and B, you're back, can you tell the people out there who's doing what in the gospel? Let's start with Vinny. I nearly said Kramer. But...
I'm Vinny, and I play drums. And
I'm Jonathan. I play guitar and keyboard.
I'm Sean. I play bass and do some vocals.
And we are missing Adam, who is the main vocalist, right? So
that's correct. And the lead guitar.
And the lead guitar. Yes, we shouldn't forget about that. Second question of the day, something that I, for a few weeks, have been asking everybody who is on the show. What is the band shirt or merch that you are wearing today?
I'm wearing a Dragged into Sunlight shirt.
Ooh, good band. Very good band.
A good band, but I might be the only one wearing a band t-shirt today.
I'm not sure about Vinny.
Vinny's wearing something.
Yeah, well, mine's a mockery of Minor Threat, but it's just a Vatos Locos. Yeah.
but isn't it crazy how iconic that? Isn't it funny how iconic that cover for Salad Days had become? And Sean, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
I am boring. I have a plain black t-shirt on.
So he's wearing Metallica's Black Album, basically. Yeah, for everybody who always asks, I'm plugging my good friends in Ulfa,
Nice.
best black metal band ever to come out of Western Germany. So then, next question. I see that some of you are in the room, but Vinny is in a van. So Vinny, for everybody out there, you're not living in the van, right?
It'd be nice. It'd be cheaper, but no.
So you're on vacation. Did I understand that right?
Yes. Okay. I'm at a water park with my wife and kids, and they're having fun, and I'm here with you beautiful gentlemen doing this talk.
I thought he was about to say, and I'm not, but okay. So Jonathan, where are we catching you? I see some codes. I see some wonderful pictures in the background.
Yeah, I'm in my apartment in my office where I work from home a lot, so I'm here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn.
So you are also generally working a lot from home.
That's true.
Like
yeah.
Real profession-wise, the thing that makes money.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't do the band. We don't do the band virtually yet. But someday, it's gonna happen.
One day it's gonna happen. And Sean, I guess we're catching you in your living room, right?
I'm in my attic, hiding from my 3 kids. Yeah.
So
That's a theme.
That's a theme, right? So we got 2 guys who are hiding from their kids. Okay. Mine is asleep, so I'm good. 6-hour difference. But I always wanted to ask that the gospel. I mean, like gospel itself. The band name can be taken ambiguous. Can have a lot of meanings. One of my friends said, "Look, that's quite an arrogant name," and I'm like, "Nah, it's not." So, what is your own take on the band name? I'm pretty sure you're not religious, guys.
No, I don't think there's any really grand plan behind it. Do you guys know? I think it's sort of random.
Yeah, it's more random. It's not meant to be taken literal. We're not a Christian rock band by any means. Yeah.
I think it just sounded kind of provocative at the time. I think it's why.
Oh yeah, I mean like early 2000s. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Adam.
That's probably the best take that John has. Yeah.
I think it was just like felt a little subversive, but it's also not that serious. So.
It's interesting that in the US you're calling that kind of name like provocative or subversive. In Europe or here in Germany, nobody would care about it. It's just fun. But
I think it was just
question,
of the time. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So, guys, you have been part of the hardcore punk, however we want to call it, scene for quite some time now. Has there been any like gateway band or event or concert or maybe even a record that got you into that kind of music?
On.
I mean, I started listening to early punk rock stuff, like the classic bands, and then I ended up just finding my way into more, modern underground music. This is going late 90s, early 2000s. That led me to everybody. But there was no like one album or anything. It was just kind of a slow transition into going from a kid listening to Roses and Metallica to finding better music that more spoke to me that I could identify with.
Did you just use Neurosis and Metallica in the same sentence?
Oh, no. Guns N' Roses.
Oh, that's
Oh, Guns N' Roses. I
Yeah.
was like, the sound was off for a second. I was like, so Jonathan, how was it for you back in the day?
I mean, really similar. I was just like a metalhead kid. He listened to Metallica and Megadeth and Slayer and Overkill and stuff like that. And then in Long Island, it was just cooler to be into hardcore. So like, there's a bunch of bands back in the day that were really cool, like CR and stuff like that. But in college, I listened to like Blood Lad and Dead Guy and American hardcore bands like that.
And Vinny, was there any initiating process for you that got you into that kind of music?
I don't know. I was more into like prog rock, and then I got into like tough guy hardcore, like Shalud and Sick of It All and stuff. And then a mutual friend of ours, Matt, got us me into like more underground shit that I didn't know existed, and I guess that made more of an impact than anything. I think, right, Sean? You think? Agree with that?
Yeah, I think Matt playing stuff like Sleepy Time Trio and Engine Down kind of opened us up to like boat side of things for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much that. So.
So, like 2 decades ago, you basically got together as more or less young guys, and now you're back together as, sorry for the word, but grown-up men, right? So,
Older men.
yeah.
Way older.
How does it feel now to have the gang together again?
It's great.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just like more mature and older, and it's less drama, and it's actually a lot more chill and a lot more fun.
Do you now, I mean, like that would have been one question that normally would have been asked at the end, but do you think that this is now the time when you're gonna do this for longer than, let's say, 6, 7, 8 years, or are you not making any plans at all?
There's nothing is certain, I don't think, with that.
Yeah.
Just take it day by day and like enjoy it while we can. And we just I'll speak for myself. I never thought this would happen at all, that we'd get back together at all. So I don't think any of us did.
I think it's something that, I don't think it's just going to end at the drop of a dime. Somebody gets mad at somebody and it ends. I think we're all older before where we're able to navigate through the relationships better than we could have, 15, 20 years ago. So there's no long-term plans to play into our 50s and 60s or anything like that. But I don't think we would just, end it at the drop of a hat. I think if it was going to go silent, it would be done naturally and with an open door to be revisited at some point. I don't think it would be a rash judgment to end it and pull the plug. So there's no plan to do that. But I mean, I think we're just better equipped at being like all these years later. Yeah.
So can we at all in any way touch that question of how did that break come about, or are you saying like, let's not talk about the old shit?
I mean, I think I could sum it up. I think John did a great job in a different interview that we all had unwavering visions of the band that would sometimes clash. I think on a personal level, I think when there's four guys, just putting all of their time and energy and resources into the same thing, and everybody is making their own, personal sacrifices to do that, it's very easy to lose sight of the other sacrifices that people are making, kind of focus on your own. And I think sometimes we lost sight that we were all rowing the boat in the same direction at times, and it was easy to lose sight of that. So I think it just ran its course for that time. I think it was stopped being productive at that point in time, and we just needed a break.
So could we sum it up with the very often used, but when listening to your music, also I think very appropriate term, artistic differences?
Sure, that's a sum up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like when listening to your music, it doesn't matter if we're listening to the first records or first record that you put out or to the loser. It's always striking how diverse it is, and I can imagine that it's pretty hard to get all of that under one roof. So, but you never felt underappreciated or something like that back then. And I'm not talking about you as persons, but you as a band.
At the time, I don't think we did. And now we're just not as concerned with that. I think I think we would have wanted to be bigger or more famous or whatever you want to put it, but it wasn't like the goal of the band, I don't think, for any of us. So it wasn't like disappointing, and we weren't like, why aren't we bigger or something like that. I think that's how we all feel. I mean, I don't know. We just like doing it, and we were just doing it because we loved doing it.
Maybe that is also the reason why you were able to get back together, huh?
Yeah, and in retrospect, that's why we do it now. Yeah, it's the same thing. Do you guys agree, Vinny and Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't trying to be cool or anything. We just did this because we love doing it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
we weren't trying to get girls or anything. Or boys, whatever.
And also, I don't think it was a thought that we were gonna, it was gonna explode. We weren't gonna be, we were never expecting to be played on K Rock or something. Or like the local station, like an app to drive into. I think we were always too abrasive to find more of a mainstream.
Do you think so? I think I'm not trying to flatter you, but when listening to either of your records, I always had the feeling like, okay, these guys must be getting big any second. And again, it doesn't matter to 16 years ago or now.
That's
whenever
really
anybody asks me right now, what is the hardcore album of 2022? It's always a loser, hands down.
Oh, thanks, man.
Nothing against everything else, but it's always a loser.
Awesome. That's awesome. I still stand by the fact that we never thought this would be bigger. It's like, I appreciate it, and I understand what you're saying, though, for sure.
Do you have a feeling that you are now getting more recognition than back then? Because I have. I mean, like, from looking from the outside at it, I have a feeling as if more people are talking about gospel now than 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah.
You go, John. Yeah.
There's just a cult of personality around the first record, so I think it kind of percolated for a while, and then now everyone has an opinion about the new record. But I think that had a lot of time to like just simmer. That's my personal take.
And also too, the first time around, there wasn't really social media. I think MySpace had just become a thing, so there were still a lot of things are they were still in print, right? Where you have to actually buy a copy. There wasn't all these resources online to read about music and find out about things and seeing people chat about it. So it was really it's kind of hard to compare now and then, being as old as we are and things being like kind of different now that we're playing again.
True. I mean, like the growing availability of information, right? That makes it definitely in some ways easier, or also on the other hand harder, right? But let's get to the point where you guys got back together. How was that when you first got back together in one room, or when you first started talking about it?
Well, I mean, Vinny and I, Vinny and I were always see each other. So like through any like gospel not playing, Vinny and I live less than a 5-minute walk from each other. So, and you know, we're married to sisters, so we're always we can't escape each other. But I mean, I think like we were playing in 2009 and 10, and then we had some time off, and then we were playing again in 2018. We started playing again. So I mean, I think it's been an on again, off again thing, and I think personally, I think I kind of thought it was always we were eventually going to find each other as, you know, a 4-piece at some point. I think it would happen earlier, but I think everyone was getting their lives in order. There was different things happening, you know, people having kids. I know Adam was in Japan for a while. So I just don't think our lives, the paths that we were on, were crossing at that point. But it could have happened earlier. I don't think there was any reason besides that stopped it. But it's great being in a room playing music, you know, with John, Vinny, and Adam is amazing. There's nobody else I want to ever really play with and have as my main focus. So musically.
So
yeah,
just
Vinny,
John,
what do you think?
What do you mean? Oh, I thought it was wonderful. I really did. And, you know, I thought us getting back together was like a dream at one point. You know, I didn't think it was gonna happen, you know, but then everything just fell into place. And I remember the first time we started playing together was it felt great. It felt like, you know, when you go away for a long time, you know what I mean, and you come back home and you get in your bed and it feels fucking great. It was the same exact feeling. I don't know, whatever, call me cheesy, man, but I thought it was cool. You know, it felt great, you know, especially because, you know, I think since like 2010, like I like Sean said, I see Sean all the time, you know what I mean? And Sean's my brother. I love him to death. But John and Adam, I hadn't seen in a very, very long time. And being able to like hook up and like, you know, the way we all met up as, you know, older individuals, you know, a little bit more mature and, you know, at least I hope in my department, you know what I mean? Fucking it was quite the dream come true to me, you know what I mean? Because I can't, like Sean, like there's no other people I'd rather play with, you know? They're just fucking, they're so fucking cool. You know, but it was great. Sorry, did I rant there?
No, you're good. And I echo all the same. Sorry, I echo all the same sentiments. It's unbelievable to play with these guys. This rhythm section behind you is like, we can all vicariously imagine what that's like. It's the coolest thing you could possibly imagine. It's just like so much power, so much precision, so much so much life to it. It's amazing. I love playing with them, and it's a dream come true to feel. Yeah.
John, as you mentioned the rhythm section behind you, do you now feel any difference when it comes to performing with the other three guys? Is it different?
I think we're better. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like it's like it seems like when you're young and you're full of testosterone or whatever it is, you're like a little kid. You would think like it's better, but it's not really. I think it's better now. When we really lock in now, it's collected. It's like really focused energy instead of this like manic energy that I think is better. It's really interesting difference actually. And sometimes it feels exactly the same.
Which is also
kind of makes you feel young again too. You know, it's like that's a good thing too.
Fountain of youth, huh?
Yeah. You play the old songs. It's hard to like not feel like we're just kids again, hanging out and having fun.
I can imagine that. So, you know, back in the day, did you feel connected to any particular scene, like the New York hardcore scene or Long Island hardcore scene, or were you always like wow?
Never Long Island scene, you know. Always. Oh, Brooklyn was always our home. Brooklyn always treated us like we belonged there, and we had a good scene going there. You know, we had like the Rahim guys. We had, you know, a bunch of dudes, Book Sly, fucking Puppies, you know, Baby Teeth. You know, we had a whole family of bands that all always played together constantly. So like,
It was nice. It was like one big community. And, you know, it's I guess, Shawnee, help me out here. What do you like? I guess like the screamo community, would that be it considered? I guess.
I don't know, 'cause it was weird because around the time we were playing shows as gospel, and even like at the end of Hell in a Troy, going into gospel, it was a very big pop punk emo time on Long Island. So a lot of the bands on Long Island, like Brand New, Taking Back Sunday, all those bands were playing these huge shows on Long Island. So there wasn't really a scene per se for a band that sounded like us. So we ended up, and the city was kind of going towards, you know, things were opening up in Brooklyn, and that's kind of where we ended up playing with, you know, meeting a lot of great people, a lot of friends who were starting bands and playing in bands that we played together. But yeah, all the bands, Vinny Menegwar was another one that we were always playing shows with, Heston Rifle, just all friends that were doing bands. I think we kind of had our own little thing going locally on Long Island, Brooklyn, or Queens.
So, did you, when you started going from Helen of Troy to gospel, were there any kind of musical influences that all four of you shared, or bands where you said like, okay, that is something that we all like, even if it doesn't influence our sound?
Yeah, I think generally we all like a lot of different bands, and there are a bunch of common bands that we kind of all come together on. I think one of the main ones, Peter Gabriel era Genesis. I know Vinny introduced me to Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and I think that was a band that we all...
That's where the rail thing in the email comes from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Rail in the waiting.
Call him rail666 at gmail.com. That's Vinny's email. Okay, so Genesis, I would never have imagined.
Yeah, that's a very strong common thread. Especially, particularly like that theatrical Lamb Lies Down on Broadway Genesis.
But then we're talking about like not the first lineup, but like the middle lineup. You know, when Collins was still behind the drums and keeping his mouth shut, right? Oh, there is something stuck on there.
Oh, that song is like that.
Ooh, you froze, my man. Oh, there you go.
We're back now.
But so we're still talking about the lineup with Collins behind the drum set and
yeah, no later Genesis.
Yeah. No 80s
there were, yeah, and then there was boredom.
That
boredom.
Very true.
Invisible cock. So good.
But I think Bob, we're all like variably into prog. I mean, we kind of get lumped in with prog music sometimes, but I think Sean is maybe the least into it. So, and then I'm pretty heavily into it, and so is Adam and Vinny, I think. I don't know. But it's hard to say that's the only thing we like, but I think in the beginning, it was like trying to fuse some of that into what we were doing. So, especially because I play the keyboard, so it's like impossible to resist those comparisons. Yeah.
I can see that. I can definitely see that, and I can also see some similarities, of course. Although, on the other hand, it gets drowned by a lot of hardcore, right? But are there any particular influences now, like more modern things, or is it still 40, 50 years back?
John?
I think we go for more of like I mean, it's hard to speak for the whole band, but like we go for more of an atmosphere, or like a feeling. Like it's like kind of like dark, brooding, kind of like powerful feeling. Like it's not really influenced by music specifically. I think we're all influenced in how we play from music that we love. But when we're writing music together, I think it...
Yes, recording in progress. Thank you. So you were mentioning that you are more looking for an atmosphere.
Right. Yeah, and then I outed Sean as being a big Jane's Addiction fan.
Ooh.
And then I said, yes, Eric Avery is my favorite bass player ever. No joke.
So I don't know where you left off, but my point was we're all really influenced by what we love musically, and then I think we play like that. But when we come together, there's no particular band or something we're emulating.
Mm.
We're taking all of our influences and like mashing them together.
So the new record, which came out in May, how have the reactions been so far? And are you happy with the reaction that you got?
Yeah, I'm happy. There was a lot of reactions to it, like more so, like that people cared enough to, you know, have a reaction to it after all these years of not, you know, being an active band. So I mean, that was very overwhelming and great to see.
Yeah, it's great.
Um,
Yeah, the reviews have been really overwhelmingly positive for the most part, and you know, you never know how people are going to react to something. We love the record, but we didn't know how it's going to be received, and I couldn't be happier with that. It's great.
So is it correct that what I read, that one of the initiating points for this record has to do with Vinny's daughter?
No, I think that came after.
Yeah,
But so correct me. How did it come along? How did you end up writing stuff together?
Oh, we were at a in 2018, Matt Messina's wedding. Our friend, and started talking. We hadn't seen Adam in a while, and that led to us playing again in the fall of 2018. We played a show in September of 2019, and we were already writing leading up to that show. So a few of the songs from The Loser were performed at that. No, 2021, and we played pretty much every song from The Loser at that show. And then Vinny and his wife Pam got the unfortunate news that no one ever wants to hear, that their daughter was sick. A few days after that show, we were already doing the band for a few years, and the songs were written. So nothing was written, you know. But I don't want to speak on that's, I think, Vinny's question. Yeah, would be more. Give a better answer than
Yeah, no, the only thing the band had to do with my kid being ill was I came to a point where I was really worried financially about all the treatments. You know, she was going through a lot with radiation and chemo. She had to get a kidney removed, you know, and like a lot of shit in a very, very short span of time. So I asked the guys if they'd be willing to play like a benefit show, like willing to, you know, play for free to raise some money so me and my family could get out of the medical hole we were in. And I was lucky enough where, you know, they agreed, and we had two other bands that were so fucking nice enough to, you know, take time out of their, you know, lives to come and help support. And that's pretty much what, you know, gospel had to do with my daughter Alina, whatever. But,
and for everybody else there who's now worrying, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I saw it correctly on your Facebook, she is well, right?
She is very well now. Yeah, she went through all her treatments, and all the cancer is gone. So we got the port removed, and yeah, she's back to being a normal little girl. After,
well, apart from the fact that she has a crazy ass father, but otherwise, all
well, that's in fact, you know. Hopefully,
everybody would say the same thing about my daughter, anyway. So, one thing.
Either way, one last thing. No, go ahead, brother. Sorry.
One thing that, for example, also strikes a lot of people about the record is, and even my wife said it. She said, like, that artwork is pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, it is, but the music is even better. But who came up with the idea for this amazingly effective artwork?
John.
We were in my house, and we were trying to figure out what to do. It was really late in the game. We were just like, didn't have artwork. I'm still really good friends with Alec, who did the amazing artwork on The Moon is a Dead World. I have to shout him out. My friend Alec Hell is like an incredible artist, and everyone loves that artwork from the first record. So we're a little torn. We kind of wanted to do something like that, but Robert Rauschenberg is an artist from the mid-century, and he did a series of pieces on cardboard called Cardboards. He just like drew on and I have a poster of that in my room, and it just came to me, what if we just tore up a piece of cardboard and wrote with a Sharpie like the whole album artwork. So actually I think, so yeah, it's like here's the original. It's just a piece of cardboard that we wrote on.
Yeah, it's so amazingly effective, and it even in a way even tells its own story, right? You know, not the story of how it came to be, but it tells a story of its own. You know, like we see because we see cardboard Sharpies with cardboards or cardboards with Sharpies all the time, right? We see that in the streets everywhere, but
right.
And so it was like very, very simplistic, I think, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, I think we're trying, from my perspective, we were just trying to come up with like an iconic look that you just always remember, and it's like a little cast off. It's not supposed to like feel like there's a lot of thought put into it. It's just like immediate and visceral, kind of hopefully like reflecting the music a little bit.
So does the record for you have an overarching theme? Like, is there a loser that you're basically talking about?
Unfortunately, Adam would be best equipped to talk through that, because we hadn't heard any of the lyrics essentially when we started to go into the record. Am I wrong, guys? Like,
No.
For the most part.
I mean, from our perspective, I won't speak for him, but like, we were recording the music and he had his notebook and he was writing it as we were like recording. And I think he came up with an incredible narrative that I think only he could speak to the meaning of. But I think, and I know he prefers people to infer their own meaning from it. So
yeah,
there's definitely like a thread. There's definitely a thread through it. There's definitely some meaning behind it and like a personal feeling that he has about it. But I have to defer to him if he ever wants to express exactly what it means.
So you again worked with Kurt in from Converge. Did that choice come about naturally because you already had worked with him before, or was it like let's do Baloo?
Yeah. I think it was our choice to work with Kurt. We love what he did with Moon is a Dead World. I think he understands us. And I think he understands what we're looking to achieve when we record. So no brainer for us to go back to God City and work with Kurt. Yeah.
And it felt really good. It was like the same feeling as getting the band back together. Just being back there with him gave us like a warm, fuzzy feeling. It was nice.
Did it feel like going full circle again? Like,
I thought so for sure. Vinny?
Oh hell yeah. Going back to Kurt seemed like it was like something we all wanted to do from the get-go, but the time was like the hardest to get, like, seeing as that we have kids and like, you know, we had to travel there, we had to stay there, whatever. But when we finally was able to do it, it was like the biggest deal to us, you know. At least you guys agree? Yeah?
Oh yeah. It made it much sweeter to do it with him.
Absolutely.
And it sounds insane. I mean, the record sounds better than I think any of us could have imagined. It's amazing.
It definitely sounds incredible. And I think at the same session, you also recorded, shall we call it a one-off single? Like MV. I only wrote down the short form because I cannot remember it anyway. So MVDM. Something like Magic Dealer Volume.
It's just Magic Volume, basically. Yeah, we recorded that at the same time, but that's a long, long song and a hard one to get right. So.
That's also something that I wanted to ask. It's like 21 minutes, and somewhere on your Bandcamp you stated that you basically had intended back in the day to do one single full-length album long track. So now you're putting out a 21-minute version of it, or a 21-minute depiction of where it is at the moment. Did you want to get rid of haunting ghosts?
I'd say so. I mean, in version one, I think version one of the band, that was supposed to be the second record, was going to be a 60-minute song. We kept trying to, we wanted one song that's like super long, like the Screamo Dope Smoker, or however you want to look at it. And we would get a little bit further into the song than that point, and it sucked. And then we'd go back and a little bit further and go back and a little bit further and go back. And I think it just naturally, that was it. So that as you hear it is basically how it was back in the day. And we had put so much time and love and energy into that song, we wanted to make sure it was out there in some form.
But it's called Volume 1, but we won't get Volume 2, eh?
Who knows? Maybe.
Is it difficult to
never
play?
say never.
Is it difficult to play that one? Because like 21 minutes?
Yes.
It's difficult to get the feel right live with it. You know, it's got to have, you know, like you can have it like orchestrated and timed perfectly or whatever, but that song, like, it only works if everyone's feeling right when they're playing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's more organic, you know, and it's one of those hit or miss songs, you know, live. So
yeah, you know. It needs a lot of feeling, and I myself am doing like a lot towards the end. That whole end suite is just like, if I'm a little off, it just doesn't work. So it's on me if the end doesn't sound good usually.
So everybody can go like, we were perfect. Look at John. He's like, fuck no.
Yeah. If I'm in the zone and I'm doing the roads just right, that's not, the end is great. And if I'm off, it just sounds like shit. So
general question, are there any of the songs that you wrote either now or back for the moon where you say like, oh no, those are difficult to play for us?
I mean, there's some we still can't really play from the moon.
Redemption fucks me every time we play it, man. That shit sucks.
Yeah, Redemption's hard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As far as you can throw me from the first record, it's extremely hard to play well. Yeah. We can get through it, but that's probably the toughest song.
Yeah, that's where you got to like put an oxygen mask on us after and do a little chest compression. Throw on another 5 beers, you know.
I have to shout out Vinny's stamina. Vinny's been playing drums like he's 25 again, so it's amazing.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
We'll just say we're not 25.
Sounds like the animal from the Muppets, but with even more octane in the tank, definitely.
Vinny's the best drummer ever, so.
Agreed.
He would say otherwise, but he's definitely
he's up there. He's up there.
So one thing that strikes a lot of people, including me, is that this year we had returns by Saisha, we had City of Caterpillar doing a new record, you doing a new record. Do you guys have any idea why so many of the bands from back in the day are having a comeback?
Midlife crisis.
I didn't want to ask about it. I didn't want to ask it like that. Otherwise, apart from midlife crisis, anything else?
No, I think it's just. I think now it just seems like everybody just has more time on their hands. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got their families together, got everything in order. So now there's a lot more time to actually put forth the effort into playing again. At least I think so. What do you think, Sean? I think that.
Yeah, I agree. I think like age and, you know, being past certain milestones in life, if you were dealing with them I just try to play music when my kids were babies. You know, like I have 3 kids, they're all 2 years apart. So having like a 1, 3, and 5-year-old at home, you know, I'm kind of not a good dad or husband if I'm out till like 2 a.m. and leaving all 3 of them to my wife to take care of at the same time. So I mean, like being past that just personally, and I think like based on the age of the other bands that you mentioned, I'm not sure where they are, you know, in certain aspects of life, but I mean, I think being at this age, I think we're all kind of like set in our places. You know, there's not a lot of history as to what the next move is or where we're going to be living in 2 or 3 years. I think we're all kind of settled where we are. So I think it just makes it easier, like collectively, like within the bands that you mentioned, I could only assume just based on our experiences, but being that we're all similar age, I think it's just being grounded and being makes it easier.
Yeah, there wasn't like a secret Level Playing Records club where we all shook hands and we're like, we're all going to come out with records. Like, it is a good.
2022.
It's totally. It's definitely a coincidence in that way.
And it's very exciting.
But it is weird. It seems like it could have been planned out because everything's happening at the same time.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's exciting. We're actually playing the first Seisha show back. We're supporting them November
right?
2nd. And then a bunch of us got to see City of Caterpillar last week in Brooklyn, and that new album is amazing.
Yeah,
they were amazing.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
But still not #1 hardcore album this year. Definitely not. I gotta ask that for Vinny. Helen of Troy. I know that there is still some music unpublished. Will that ever see the light of day?
Oh no!
Or at least on a vinyl.
Nah, you know, the Hell in the Troy shit that people were talking about is it's all the stuff that wasn't on vinyl that is going to be put on vinyl. That's all it is. It ain't some like lost album or something. It's just everything that it's pretty much just another discography on vinyl. That's all it is. You know what I mean? So nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
So let's look into fairy tale future plans. You guys can curate a 1-day 7 bands festival with gospel playing one of those slots. So first of all, which slot is gospel gonna be in, and who's gonna play otherwise?
We'd be the opener,
and we can divide it. I said 7 because we can divide it into 2 for each of you 3 guys.
Nice, Sean.
We have to play first so we can then drink and watch the other band.
Yeah. We wanted to drink.
It's always best to play first.
Yeah.
So, Sean, which 2 bands would you choose?
Do I have a time machine, or is this current bands?
Whatever. You are having the H.G. Wells pass to every band you want to. Past, present, and future.
That would open it up too much. So I'm going to go with bands playing now. I would go City of Caterpillar and Jane's Addiction.
Nice.
Very nice.
John, which one would you be choosing?
No, you, John.
Me? This is silly because I'm wearing the shirt, but Dragged into Sunlight is incredible and one of the best bands I've ever seen live. So I'd love to play with them. And I guess classic Isis, like Oceanic Isis, was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my whole life. So that, or I guess, Sumac, I could be a thing to say. I love that new
good live band.
Incredible.
Live band. So Vinny, your 2 bands are gonna be the last and second to last band on the day.
I'd have to say Black Braid and a Paramount I Love Supreme. To be my 2 picks.
Nice.
Definitely Black Braid though. They've been my my flavor of the week right now. So, I think it's just one guy,
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if I looked it up correctly, you guys never really did a cover on any of your records, like a cover song.
No.
So if you could choose, if each of you can choose one song, then we know which EP is going to come next.
All right.
Vinny,
Sean?
you go first this time. No.
Vinny, you have to go first.
Yes.
Song to
Any
cover,
song ever.
Supper's Ready by Genesis.
Nice.
John.
I don't know. 3 days, Jane's Addiction.
I see a little kind of pattern there.
And I'll say Achilles' Last Stand, Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
That would be a good record. We should actually do that.
Dude, that answer gave me a boner. That was great.
And now let's reverse it. You can choose one artist to cover a gospel track.
Oh gosh.
And let's stick to active bands.
Active. Fuck.
And we're not taking another Jane's Addiction answer. Now, John, you go first.
Let's say, God, Melvin's doing your Electric Surges suite.
Nice.
That would be sick.
That would be dope. Definitely. Vinny, which one would it be for you?
I want Depeche Mode to play Bravo.
But you got to choose
Nice.
You got to choose an easier song because it's only two guys anymore. So.
Oh fuck! All right. You know what? I want Woven Hand to do Warm Bed. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be nice. And Sean?
Johnny Cash died, right?
He's dead.
Yeah, like 21 years ago or something, man.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Porno for Pyros. I'm kidding.
For real.
Dude, I was excited.
That was good.
That
No.
was a sneaky way out.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I'll go Weird Al. Anything off of the moon.
Okay.
Good enough. Good enough.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I mean, you could say about the guy whatever you want to, but he sure has a knack for doing good covers. So, these were like the questions that I had thought of. And of course, we cannot end any Veil of Sound interview without our infamous quickfire round. So, you all have to answer 10 questions, and you always get two alternatives and then have to choose. And if you want to give an explanation, then give a short one. We'll start off with a few New York related questions. Sick of it all or H2O?
Oh, sick of it all.
Agree. Sick of it all.
Ooh, that was even so. Roger Mirit or Freddie Kirsten?
Oh,
Freddie Kirsten.
I'll have to go with Freddie too.
Freddie.
I'll go with the guys. Yeah.
Brooklyn or Queens? That's easy.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where would you rather play or have played? CBGBs or St. Vitus?
I'd love to play CBs again. We played both places, thankfully. CBs, rest in peace.
CB's, we've played Vitus like 9 times so far.
Yeah.
And Sean, which one would you rather play in?
We played both. So like the whole historic part of CB's is cool, but Vitus is awesome. They treat us well. It's a home away from home. So
Okay.
Good answer.
We cannot talk about New York without talking about hip hop. So Wu-Tang Clan versus Beastie Boys.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang every day of the week.
The Yankees or the Mets?
the Mets.
Mets.
No, Yankees.
That's wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, a few other questions apart from that. You've mentioned 2 Long Island bands, so I got to throw them in. Taking Back Sunday or Brand New? And we're only talking about music, not about sexual harassment or anything. Just talking about music.
Brand New.
Yes, head to head, I would have to pick Brand New if you put a gun to my head.
Brand New. Same gun to my head.
And as you were talking about being metalheads when you were younger, which album do you choose? Peace Sells or the Black Album?
Peace Sells.
Peace Sells. For
Peace Sells.
sure. Way better.
I'm buying that.
You can choose between At the Drive-In or Mars Volta. Which one would you rather play with?
Mars Volta.
Mars Volta for me too.
At the Drive-In.
Ooh, at least one question where you don't agree. Emerson, Lake and Palmer or Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
And I got one last one. Pink Floyd, with Waters or without Waters?
Oh,
Waters.
With
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
And Vinny, what did you say?
With.
With.
Definitely with.
With.
He was
Okay.
on live at Pompeii, right?
Yes, he is.
Said yes. Then with.
yeah.
Yes, he is.
STYG. I love Live at Pompeii. It's the best thing ever.
Dude, it's the
Okay,
fucking.
I got one last one. I mean, like, I know that you all love The Lamp Lies Down on Broadway, but outside of those, Foxtrot or Selling England by the Pound?
Selling England.
I go
That's
Selling
hard
England.
though. It's
Selling England definitely.
Selling England.
Supper's ready. Just for supper's ready.
Yeah,
But fuck,
So
Selling
we-
England by the Pound's amazing.
amazing.
So we see, everybody, this is not just your average hardcore band. They're prog nerds. You can ask them anything. You know, who played live at Pompeii? They know everything. And first of all, I cannot overemphasize it. If you are listening to this podcast, and if you are following Veil of Sound, and if you, for fuck's sake, haven't listened to The Loser yet, stop right here and correct that wrong. Then go ahead and buy it, and pray for those guys ever to touch European ground, as I do. Guys, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you
Oh,
so
yeah.
much for having us. It's awesome. Appreciate it. And thanks for all the
Wonderful
kind words about the record. We really appreciate it.
time. All more than deserved, my friend. All more than deserved. Have a good evening, boys. Bye-bye.
You
Bye.
too,
Thanks.
brother.